So Twitter is mainly for news and for sharing your thoughts, but let's take a bit of a deep dive into best practice. So when it comes to your Twitter profile, just like on LinkedIn, you want to make sure that your cover image and your profile image looks professional. So this means update your logo and make sure your logo fits within that circle. Don't leave it blank. Make sure you don't have too much copy in the back. And if you have a cover image, as you can see here in the example, the copy is like cut off on the top of the screen. It just doesn't look very professional. And also it's worth mentioning, you want to make sure that your profile cover image will look good when it's on mobile as well as when it's on desktop. So don't forget about that. Now here's some examples of what looks good. So as you can see in these examples, the individuals have used pictures which kind of capture exactly what they do, and they've got a very professional picture up on their profile. Now imagine if this was exactly the same across here and on LinkedIn, you'd be able to find that person straight away, and you'd know it's the right person that you're looking at. Those images that they've used as the cover images really nicely capture exactly what they do. And if you can, I'd definitely recommend creating a cover image like that rather than using a cover image which has got copy and text on it. But this is completely up to you. So I'd recommend either doing an image like this where you've got kind of an in-action scene that you're using, or you could just quite simply add your logo on there, or create an image, use pexels.com to get a stock image, and you can use a tool such as Canva, where you can go ahead and then edit that image and then add your contact details or whatever it might be. But have a little bit of fun as long as it looks professional. And like I said, remember that it needs resizing when you're on mobile versus desktop. Now, when it comes to Twitter best practice, here's a couple of things to think about. As always, just make sure your profile is looking professional. Now, when it comes to you posting content or tweets out on Twitter, you've got to make sure you don't overdo it with the hashtags. It's so easy to do so. A hashtag is mainly there for indexing purposes. So it's supposed to be there so that other people can find your content. So don't make up hashtags or create a list of 5 different hashtags to add at the end of your tweet. Just use 3 maximum that are relevant to what you're talking about. Number 3 is make sure you use the platform correctly. So remember that if you're using the @username, that message will go directly to that user and will not be broadcasted from your platform. So if you want to share a tweet which is about a specific person to the whole world, then remember to add a full stop at the start. You can obviously head over to Twitter to give you some more information about the functionalities and how that all works. Or obviously feel free to get in touch with me and I can explain it to you in person. There are some great hashtags that happen every week if you like. So for example, hashtag Brom Hour, which I believe is on every Sunday evening. This is an opportunity for you to connect with people in Birmingham, for example, and reach more people and make new connections. So find relevant hashtags and also use these relevant hashtags that you think you'll be using yourself to give you an idea about what other content's being used on that particular hashtag. One of my favorite places to use Twitter is when I go to events. So most events will have a hashtag that they're using at the event. It's brilliant to get involved with conversations, connect with other like-minded people. Sometimes if you're lucky, there might be a competition or 2 going on too. So definitely use that when you are going to events. Use a mixture of images. So if you're going to be scheduling content, make sure you have a range of images that you're going to be sharing. So it doesn't look like your feed just constantly has the same image going out, because obviously on the left-hand side, everyone can see what images you've been tweeting out. But yeah, this is just about adding variety to your posts. And you remember with Twitter, you can tweet as many times as you like. I'd say maybe a maximum of about 7 tweets a day if you really have a lot to say. The reason being that Twitter is a different platform, obviously, to other social media channels. It's less invasive, so you can go ahead and tweet as many times as you like. But remember, it is about quality, not quantity. So make sure the content you are sharing is of value. One of the things that people forget about is Twitter is a fantastic social listening tool. It's a great way to find out what your competitors are doing. find out about any mentions of you where people might not have mentioned you, i.e. put your username in there. So make sure you use a tool such as TweetDeck to get this set up. And like I said, please do get in touch if you have any questions. You might not know this, but Twitter offers lists, which is a fantastic feature, and basically means that you can group together people and put them into lists. So you could be following thousands of people on your Twitter account, and obviously when you go to your homepage, you have loads of tweets coming through from everything that you're following. So it could be some stuff that you're following for work, but some stuff that you're following from an inspiration perspective, or some brands that you like or whatever. So Twitter lists lets you group up these various different people that you're following, and makes it easier for you to kind of digest all that content in a tool such as TweetDeck, for example. So you could create a list which is for your competitors, or you might create a list of specific magazines and publications, or you might want to create a list of, I don't know, restaurants in Birmingham or whatever it might be. So you can create all these lists. They can be private and they can also be public. Just when you go in to create a list, you can go ahead and select that particular function. Remember, you can use Twitter for things like Q&As. You can do Twitter launch parties, competitions, etc. So find different ways in which you can engage with your audience. And remember, on your profile, if you are working for another company, to add in opinions on my own at the end of your bio, just so that you are compliant, I guess, with your social media policies. We've still got some more best practice tips. Okay, so now when it comes to your Twitter profile, other things to think about when you're sending tweets out, you can tag other people, which means that they will get a notification. Obviously, are probably more likely to either retweet your tweet or like your tweet. Give credit to people if they were involved in any way. It's a great way to kind of connect with other people and give a little bit back. You can use things like Twitter polls, which helps with engagement. So you could create a quick survey to find out what kind of things your audience is interested in. It's a great way to kind of get some insights, I suppose, from a market research perspective, but also is quite interactive, and you're probably more likely to get a bit more engagement using polls. You can use GIFs on Twitter too, which is a little bit of fun, but be mindful about what your brand is. Think about what your tone of voice is. Is it relevant? Even if you use a GIF, like think about the type of GIF that you're using, but you do have that functionality available. Now, pinning tweets to the top of your profile is fantastic. Any particular tweet that you want kind of people to focus on can be pinned to the top of your page. So say if you've got an event running and you want to get people to sign up for that particular event, you could send that tweet out, but also pin it to the top of your profile so that it's clear that the event is running, and that people can obviously go ahead and complete the call to action that you have there. It could be a sale that you have. It could be that you're offering a service for free, whatever it might be. Any kind of big piece of news that you want to put at the top of your profile, you can go ahead and pin that tweet. As with LinkedIn, remember you can share your Twitter handle via email, so add that one in as well. Now, when it comes to managing all of this content, just create a Excel sheet, as simple as that, or a Word document, and just list kind of all your tweets, put it in one place if that's what's easier for you. But if it's easier for you to kind of just do it as you go along, then that's completely fine as well. But the idea here is just to make sure that you are constantly active. You can also access Twitter Analytics. So there's in the settings area on the left-hand side, there's an option there for you to go ahead and find your Twitter Analytics. It's kind of where your Twitter ads stuff is as well. But it'll give you a bit of insights into the types of people who are following you, what the demographics are, etc., which can be really useful to inform your content strategy. Last but not least, tweet maybe about 3 times a week if you can do to get started. Again, if you can only do once a week, the idea here is to make sure you're doing something consistently and something that you can commit to. So if you cannot commit to always doing something 3 times a week, then don't go ahead and do it. But if you have got something where you know, for example, if you're creating a blog post and it's on your website, you could quite easily automate and connect your Twitter to your website so that every time you create a blog post, it shares that piece of content out automatically. So there's one at least piece of content that's ticked off. The other thing to remember is Twitter is a place where you connect and engage with people, so make sure you are doing that on the platform. Now, just a couple of pointers on how to grow your network. So number one, remember to connect with relevant people. You can use it to listen and see what's going on in the industry, to help inform your content strategy, for example. Remember, you can get involved with certain hashtags such as Brum Hour or Leamington Hour or London Hour. But you have various different hashtags that you can get involved with. And last but not least, remember to use the functionality to create lists, because it makes it a lot easier for you to then kind of manage the people who are on your account. Right, so now it's over to you. So have a go at writing a couple of tweets that fit your brand. Don't overthink it. Maybe you can find a piece of content that's really useful to share. Maybe you want to share an exciting piece of news. Remember to use maximum of 3 hashtags. Upload an image as well if you can, because it adds a bit more, you're more likely to get more engagement. And remember to tag anyone if it's relevant, to help to reach as many people as possible. Here's some pointers about how many characters you got, etc. But have some fun with it and give it a go.